Hi, and welcome to Visual Art Photography. I'm Ray Scott. Hey, it's been quite a while, so let's just jump right back in. And by the way, it's great to see you. Well, in the North Country right now, it's autumn, and that means that the leaves on the trees are starting to change color. But how often have you gone out to do autumn photography only to come back home and look at your images and they're just not quite up to snuff? They're not quite what you were looking for. Well, there could be lots of reasons for that. And you know something, we have to take advantage of this very short season and come back with winners. So I've got a whole bunch of tips today on how you can go out there and do your autumn photography and be really happy with what you get. Now, there's all kinds of different things that we can look at. Sunny day shooting, cloudy day shooting. You have to use a polarizer in certain situations to get the most out of your photography. What you want is for your images to pop. So let's dig in and take a look at how we can make our autumn photography as good as it possibly can be. You know, it's really great to be sitting back in this chair. It's great to be sharing time with you. And we'll be doing a lot more of that. A reminder, subscribe if you haven't already, especially if videos are coming out a little sporadically. It may be a really good idea to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell and make sure that you get all the notifications so that when a video does come out, you're first to know about it. All right, let's first take a look at shooting in overcast or cloudy conditions and what we need to do to make sure that everything turns out the way we want it to. We are going to be covering a whole bunch of things like reflections, sunny day shooting, backlit shooting, intimate landscape, motion blur effects, all kinds of different things. But we start off, as promised, with the cloudy day. And here we are up in the northern part of Quebec, shooting by this pretty fast-moving stream. And it's getting to be later fall. And some of the leaves are down, but as you can see, it's really beautiful. And it is a cloudy day, which makes shooting really, really easy. Now, you may be thinking, well, a cloudy day, it's not so nice. But it can be really, really nice. I wasn't using a polarizer on my lens here or anything like that. It's just, this is the color, the way it was. So easy to shoot. You don't have to compensate for anything. The light was really, really nice. So not only for flower photography does an overcast day work, but it also works for a fall day too, as long as you don't mind a gray sky. All right. Here in the morning, and there had been a fog, and it was just lifting. Actually, the fog was still there, just above the view, and the lighting was really, really nice. Now, there's a lot of green there. There's a lot of evergreen type trees and things like that, but there's a bit of yellow, and then that slash of red, which goes with the red canoe. It's a little cliche, but hey, it's pretty. And that's a nice scene, and you have that little bit of red there. And again, not needing to use a polarizer, and indeed you didn't want it because look at the reflections that you get in the water there. And we're going to cover that a little bit more in a moment. Okay, this actually was a bit of a sunny day, as you can see just in the background there. But I was shooting in the shadow of a mountain. And it was a very, very blue sky, as you can see reflected in the water here. Actually a bluish cast, which I did not choose to remove. And this is just the way it was. And the color, some of the reds and the oranges were really pretty. So again, not technically a cloudy day or an overcast day, but shooting in the shadows. And again, a different kind of effect there. Overcast day. Late in the season. All the leaves are down, but look at the color on the forest floor. And then you kind of semi-silhouette the tree and the branch coming across, and you have your composition with all of the vertical lines in the back, which are the trees. And just something to look out for. It's never too late. You know, before the snow comes, you can get some really, really nice photos late in the autumn season. All right, so here we still have an overcast day. It's a bright overcast, but now we're drifting into our reflections that I promised you I'd talk about. Why not use water? It's a perfect way to show off fall. Now you have the upper part, and then you have the lower part. And depending on how much the water is moving will depend on how much your images, your reflections will be clear, or in this case, the water was moving a little bit with the wind, and you have that painterly look. And look at that for your fall colors in the water. Same here. This is something where you would never know that it's autumn unless you look in the water, because look where the water line is. Look what I've done with it. I've got almost all water and just a little bit above the water, and the story is being told in the water, and you can see all of the color of the leaves in the water. Using water for your autumn photography, again, you're not seeing anything really above ground very much in terms of the fall colors. It's all happening as you look into the water and you realize, oh, yeah, it's got to be autumn. Look at all the color in the water. Another way to use, you can use your reflections this way too. A little bit of foreground action with the boardwalk there, and that's kind of a lead into the whole thing. But if you look into the water, again, you get more of the story of the autumn scene in the water than you do above. Sunny day shooting. Okay, so now this is where you really do need a polarizer, because what happens, of course, is that leaves have a waxy coating on them, and that waxy coating reflects the sunlight, and it kind of washes out the color when you're shooting it. So if you put a polarizer on, not only does it make the sky go nice and blue, but it takes away a lot of that reflection that the wax is causing on the leaves, and you get the full color. So bang, here you have it. This is just a case of me seeing this beautiful tree and just wanting to get the tree and nothing else, and some blue sky for a little bit of an opposite effect there. But you can do it that way, or you can choose to include a little bit of something else, a little bit of color, a little bit of green. Same tree, just a different angle on it, including something else as well. But shooting on a sunny day. And remember, too, when you're shooting in the fall, the sun is very bright and it's very specular, but it is a bit lower in the sky than, say, in the summertime. So you can work with that, too, and you can get some nice shadows and things like that. Things like this. You get that shadow effect. You get a little bit of dark, and some brightness, again, but with a polarizer on, just to bring out the color, not only in the oranges and the reds, but also the yellows and the greens. Take that reflection off of the leaves if you can with a polarizer. Or you can use backlighting. All right, so the sun is behind the trunk of that tree. This is on an early morning walk, and the sun is up. I've made sure that it's behind the trunk, and then it just kind of lights up the whole tree. All right, so you can use backlighting. That can be a very effective tool for your autumn photography. More backlighting with an aperture of f/16 here to get that star effect with my wide-angle lens, using the wide-angle lens too. And I didn't want those trees to appear like they were standing up straight. They're bent in. Everything is kind of bending in, and you got the sun, and you have backlighting. And that's a different way, again, to use an effect for a different kind of photography. Backlighting too, again. Sun is up above, shooting straight up or almost straight up into this canopy, and not super colorful or anything, but interesting in terms of the color and the composition, and you have the branches going off. By the way, if you ever shoot on a rainy day, or it's just rained, something like that, it can be really good too, because what happens is the bark on the trees goes really, really dark. So you have the big contrast between the bark and the leaves on the tree. So that's another tip, actually. You can shoot on a rainy day or something like that. It's really great when the tree is wet. Okay, now we're going to head into something called the intimate landscape. And this is what I was talking about when I'm saying you go out and you're taking pictures and you come home and you're kind of disappointed. This kind of a shot would be disappointing. But I took it to show you what you can do with something like this. Okay, so this is not anywhere near anything that I want. And you have the yellow tree in front, and you have that orange red tree in the back, and all of that kind of stuff. The intimate landscape. Put a telephoto lens on, move a little closer, and
you have a scene then that is all yours. It's yours. It's like this scene belongs to you. It's just something that you see. It's the intimate landscape. It's a connection between you and nature. And it's kind of like, hey, this belongs to me. This is for me, the intimate landscape. It's not something that you would normally see. It's you have to kind of have your camera. It's a photo. You've got your telephoto lens on, and you're framing it and composing it in the way that you want to do it, and it's an intimate shot. Same here. It's dark in the background. You know, you're exposing solely for the leaves. That's it. Everything else can go dark, and it's just you and a connection with this piece of nature and the texture and the composition and the color and the drama because of the darkness. More intimate landscape. Shooting up into the canopy a little bit. Telephoto lens again. Blurry in the background. You can see the color in the background, but it's like you're just enshrouded. It's almost like you're in a bit of a cocoon of leaves, and it's the intimate feeling that it gives you. It's a personal thing. It's between you and nature, the intimate landscape. Again, a different kind. Now, this scene is not a fall-looking scene. This is just in a swamp. But that red leaf on that mossy log tells you what time of year it is. There's a few other leaves too in back on the green of the swamp and things like that. But it's that leaf, that red leaf, that tells you the story. That's intimate. There's nobody around. There's nothing else around. It's just you and a very quiet time at the edge of this swamp in the fall. And the leaf tells the story. A lot of greenery here. This is really, really early fall. But I'm just showing you this because, as I said, it's mostly green, although you have some of the plants here in the front turning color. But it's because of what's coming over at the top. You see the tree that I'm standing under, and you can see the leaves coming over at the top in front of this fountain. And then you have the red plants in the front. But it's the canopy over you that's making this into something very intimate. It's just you and the fountain and what's around you. It's a compositional tool that you might want to try using. Or you can just have some real fun and use motion blur effects with your fall colors to create some different things. Now, whether you're turning the camera or zooming the camera or doing both at the same time, if you're not quite sure how to do all of this, there's a video. You can see the banner go up there, and it'll show you exactly how I got those effects.
So I'm pretty confident if you follow some of those tips and use your own imagination, you can come up with some really impressive autumn photos. Until next time, I'm Ray Scott reminding you, it's not what you see, it's how you see it. And I will see you soon.